I'd like to call to order the Wilson County Commission meeting, the September 21st, 2020 to order. Welcome all of our visitors here tonight and invite you to come back at any time. This time we'll turn it over to Commissioner Marlowe for the prayer and the pledge.
May we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we count it a privilege and an honor to be able to assemble in such a way to conduct our business here in Wilson County. Thank you for your protection and mercy during these trying times that we're facing. We pray for those who are troubled or anxious about health-related or emotional or financial concerns, especially those caused by the coronavirus. Be especially close to those who have lost loved ones to this disease. Thank you for our first responders and those serving in our armed forces. We pray for their safety physically and emotionally. We also pray for our elected and appointed officials at all levels of government. Help each of them to rely on their guidance, on your guidance in the decision-making process. Be with us for the rest of this meeting, and may we all return safely to our families. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Marlowe. At this time, I'd ask you to press your button to record your presence at tonight's meeting. I would like to tell you that we are 100%. We have Commissioner Fields online here with me. He had a family friend that passed away, and so he's there, but he's now online. And I'd like to welcome Commissioner Rusty Keith to the County Commission tonight as well. Yes, sir. Please record your presence tonight meeting. 25-0 is everyone's here. Report from the steering committee, Commissioner Patton.
The steering committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. My bad. Commissioner Jerry McFarland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, I'd like to introduce to you my new school board member. She is from the 7th School Board District, which District 5 of the commission is part of. Jamie Farrell, would you please stand up? There you go, uncover. Mr. Mayor, we're kind of on a quest, hopefully, for the school board to meet the commissioner, the commissioner meet the school board. So sometime in the near future, I may call some of you and we'll try to have an unofficial workshop. No votes taken. But we'll just try to meet each other, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Sorry, Commissioner Patton. Now.
Quite all right. The steering committee of Wilson County Commission met in regular session on Thursday, September 10th, 2020, in the upstairs conference room at the Wilson County Courthouse. I move that minutes be received and filed.
So moved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Adoption of the agenda?
I need a motion for adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And a consent agenda, Commissioner Patton?
We do have a consent agenda tonight, so a motion for the consent agenda to be approved.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you. And Commissioner Fields are aye on all three of those. Can you hear him? Awesome. Okay, good deal. This time, I would like to ask Commissioner Rich to come forward.
I'd like to ask Ms. Ruth Grell and also the members of the Ag Extension Committee to come forward, please, if you're here. You too, Jerry. You stand over here, Ms. Ruth. How you doing? Okay. Well, first of all, before we get in to the resolution, Sarah asked Teresa Bush if she'd put together a short video to show before we do the resolution. Oh, I'm good.
Yes, sit down there.
Jerry's seat.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. I need somebody with arms strong enough to wrestle a calf and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to call hogs, tame cantankerous machinery, come home hungry, have to wait lunch until his wife's done feeding visiting ladies, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon and mean it. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then painin' from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God had to have somebody willing to ride the ruts at double speed to get the hay in ahead of the rain clouds and yet stop in midfield and race to help when he sees the first smoke from a neighbor's place. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners, somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk and replenish the self-feeder and finish a hard week's work with a 5-mile drive to church. Somebody who'd bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing, who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
I want to say a few words about Meth Rouge before we get started, before I read the resolution. I now live on, I grew up working on a farm and I now live on. And I've raised several crops of tobacco. And I probably go back to Melvin Arnett, knowing ag extension directors. And a few years back when they got up there and said they were going to, Miss Ruth was going to be the new ag extension director, I kind of thought to myself, you know, we've never had, and I'm not saying it's bad, but I thought, we've never really had a female ag extension director, and I just don't know how this is going to work out. Well, I'm going to tell you, Miss Ruth, in my opinion, is probably the best ag extension director we've ever had. I had to give her a name, it'd be the Energizer Bunny. She's everywhere. She's constantly working. Many times I saw her at the National Junior High Finals Rodeo, 3 o'clock in the morning, out there taking horses off the trailers that they come in and leading them to the stalls and checking the horses in. And I saw her, it wasn't one time, it was about every morning out there at 3 in the morning. She's everywhere. I'm going to read this resolution. Resolution, the Board of County Commissioners, Wilson County, Tennessee, honoring Ruth Correll for her dedicated service to Wilson County and its citizens. Whereas Mrs. Ruth Correll began her career with Wilson County Extension on October the 1st, 1993, and whereas her first role was a program assistant with the EFNEP program. Throughout the years, she worked her way to the Agriculture and Natural Resources Agent, which she still holds today. She has spent over 10 years serving the citizens and communities of Wilson County as Director of UT-TSU Extension Wilson County. And whereas in this role, Ms. Ruth provides invaluable resources for our county residents. She goes above and beyond to assist her clientele. And Ms. Ruth attends our quarterly county commission meetings to keep our commissioners abreast of happenings in extension, as well as providing budgetary information and answering questions, whereas she plays an important role serving on the Wilson County Fair Advisory Board. In addition to her regular duties as county director, Ms. Ruth also exhibited a true servant's heart. During the aftermath of the tornadoes on March 3rd, Ms. Ruth was out checking on farmers, members of the community, and making sure they were safe and helping in whatever and wherever needed. Described by her co-workers as awesome, and I couldn't think of a better person to have as our director. Ms. Ruth is well respected by all her peers. Even the members of Wilson County who don't play a direct role with agriculture know and love Ms. Ruth for the way she treats her clients and her friends. Mrs. Ruth is the only University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture employee to ever be selected to win 2 professional awards in the same year. In 2020, this year, Ms. Ruth earned both the Charles and Pauline Goen Customer Service Award, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, and also the Charles and Julie Wharton Award for Outstanding Extension Achievements, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture. Now therefore be resolved that I, Randall Hutto, Wilson County Mayor, along with citizens of Wilson County, do recognize and thank Ruth Correll for her service to our county and congratulate her on her life's accomplishments.
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I know you won't say a few words.
Yes, and Mr. Mayor, may I give my report? I prepared a report.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I've learned to say.
I'm not I think I was hoodooed tonight, okay? I was brought here under the idea that I was going to give an extension report on my exit out of extension.
And the employee showed up for it.
And when I walked in the back door back there, I realized that my entire staff, and they're the reason for my success, okay, over the years, those people sitting right back there. It's not been me, it's those people right back there. But if I may give my report tonight, okay, and I apologize. I always admired, and I'm going to say this, I always admired Dr. Wright. I enjoy your reports, okay? I wish I had half of those skills, all righty? But, okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting me to give a brief report regarding UTTSU Extension. And I'm going to have to read this because my heart's pounding so loudly right now. I want to thank you and the County Commission for your support through the years. We appreciate the value you place on the importance of the programming we do for the citizens of Wilson County. This has been quite a year, to say the very least. We began working remotely in March with the expectation that we might be out of the office for maybe a few weeks, and it has turned out to be a few months. We have returned to the office, but with COVID precautions. We have limited access to the office. It is open, but social distancing can be maintained. Thank you to the Wilson County maintenance staff for helping to provide safety barriers in the office. Extension is about educational programming to improve lives. Even COVID could not prevent our continuing to do our jobs. We just had to adapt to doing it in a different way. We learned about Zooming and Microsoft Teams and how to utilize those tools. We learned how to utilize Facebook Live, YouTube, and other virtual methods of connecting to people in Wilson County. Farmers still had needs, and we continued to make farm visits and help with production issues in any way possible. Initially, we visited and stood outside and maybe talked over the telephone with them while they were standing on their porch. You just had to adapt. Now we're beginning to return to some face-to-face meetings and classes, but with safety as our top priority. I would be remiss if I did not brag on some specifics. 4-H, Morgan Beatty and Leah Piper, in the midst of all of this, has been in contact with 4-Hers throughout this time. Parents of kids that participated in virtual programming were so pleased that the youth were being engaged. There were lots of 4-H events canceled, but our 4-H agents came up with ideas to work with the youth and train youth. They even had a virtual 4-H camp this summer, since the real thing was canceled. 4-H poultry judging teams will be competing Wednesday at the Regional Poultry Judging Contest. 4-H Consumer Decision Making Team competed in a regional contest recently and will be going to the state contest in October. This is just to mention a couple of the successes. Much appreciation goes to the Wilson County Fair for hosting the livestock shows this summer. Over 1,000 participants and 3,400 entries. The youth and parents were so appreciative. Many already had their project animals before all of this happened, okay? And they appreciated getting to showcase their projects. This not only impacted the kids in Wilson County, it impacted kids across the state and beyond our state. Another extension project this summer has been the Mask of Love. This is an FCE organization project as well as volunteers that just heard about the project. Masks were made and donated to Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital for their staff. FCS agent Shelley Barnes worked with this group in coordinating supplies and then distributing the final product. Our volunteers are so very important. Shelley also adapted to virtual training like a fish in water, with many educational programs in nutrition, cooking, baking, and preserving. Ag programs never stopped or slowed down. Lucas Holman, our horticultural agent, and I never stopped making visits. We had a tremendous number of calls and emails. This was the year of gardening. Stores ran out of seeds and transplants, and this drove Lucas crazy with calls about, what do I do with this plant, or what is wrong with this plant? Lucas did a great job with Zoom gardening classes and Facebook Live just to get out the information. I kept Production Ag going with livestock and row crop production questions. We helped get the word out about the coronavirus food assistance program for farmers. Now we're working on getting producers ready for the Tennessee Ag Enhancement Program. This program has benefited producers in our county over the past 15 years with approximately $4 million. Of cost share for livestock equipment, genetics improvements, hay storage, and other projects. This has not only benefited the farmer, but impacted the economics of the county. According to a study done by the UT Ag Economics Department, for every $1 of cost share, it has benefited the county economics by $6. That means over $24 million to this county. Agriculture is a major contributor to the economics of Wilson County. Our office works as a team. We could not achieve our success without our very important administrative assistants, Diane Marsh and Shelley Schrum. They are so supportive by keeping us with what we need. They are our sales staff, and they make us look good all the time. I again want to thank each of you for supporting our programming, and want to thank those that have served on the Ag Extension Committee. I would be remiss in naming everybody that's been on that over the years. Mr. Billy Rowland was on the first Ag Committee after I was selected to be county director, okay, going all the way back to there, and he was so supportive, okay? You guys have been our advocates for our programming. The county provides a large portion of our funds. Thank you. Thank you. I am retiring in September, okay, the September the 30th, after 27 years with Extension. I don't know if you believe in divine intervention, but I do. I was reared in Wilson County, but after marrying a person who was pursuing a military career, I taught math and science for several years. When Lanny retired, we moved back to Tennessee. I was fortunate to get a position with Extension. Extension has never been a job for me, but a lifestyle. If I had a wish for everyone, it is that they would enjoy whatever they do as much as I have enjoyed working for the people in Wilson County. My employer may be the University of Tennessee, but I have worked for the citizens of Wilson County. Thank you for that opportunity. I'm not leaving the county upon retirement, but will be around and will look forward to seeing each of you down the road. Again, thank you so very much.
Miss Ruth, I'm not for sure what your first speech was like, but your last one was pretty good. And Miss Ruth, hang on 1 second right there, if you don't mind. Miss Ruth, can you hear me? That's okay. I just want to say one thing. You know, when I first got here, of course, I don't know a lot now, and I definitely didn't know anything at that time. But when I wanted to learn about the Ag Extension, and I tried to get a resolution here for everybody, and Commissioner Rich came to me and said, no, the Ag Extension Committee wanted to take care of that, and so they fought and said, hey, we're going to make this happen. But I was always impressed with the way you came and talked to me, and I've heard you say many times, as me and Commissioner Ash sat there one time, talked about dead cartridges. Now, Mr. Mayor, and you would go on and give me some philosophy there, and it was always good. And, you know, in Wilson County, we have chambers that represent the businesses, and you always represented the farmer and the people that work in their garden and the people that are out here working the land, and that's some of our most important people, just like that video we just watched over here a while ago. That is the core of Wilson County, and Ms. Ruth, you are the core of Wilson County. Thank you for what you did. We love you, and thank you for the operation that you've run over there for many years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. This time, Commissioner Patton.
Okay, Angela Chapman and anybody else with New Leash on Life?
What's that?
And we have another video we're going to see tonight.
Get one for you. Okay.
Colette.
Get Spend time in the knee. I think so.
So recently with the COVID episodes, there was a drastic need. A lot of the elderly people couldn't get out. And if you know some of the elderly well, they tend to take care of their animals before they take care of themselves. So we're going to watch a video tonight about how New Leash on Life helped with a lot of that throughout the county for several months. So whenever you're ready.
We all worked together all the time, but it was just more visible. You never see it on the scale that all of a sudden we were dealing with because you had so many people without answers for problems. The morning after the tornado, the clinic was closed because we didn't have power. In the same time that I'm trying to come up with a plan, we get calls from 2 organizations. Community Foundation calls us and they just say, hey, we're checking on all of our organizations that we work with. How are you? Are you okay? Can we do anything to help? And then it dawned on me, oh gosh, we have vaccines. And what if we lose them because we don't know how long we're going to be without power? Probably within an hour, I get another call from Tito's. The rep, Kelsey, calls me, how are you? What do you need? How are you doing? And I'm like, we're trying to figure out our vaccine problem. And they figure out that there's a partner like right here in Lebanon that's only a couple of miles away. And we get this all worked out, even though like nobody's open and there's no power, like they still get with us. And so that was kind of the start of this just reminder of no matter what goes on in this community, we always have people that are willing to help. No matter what the need is, we can figure something out. Because COVID came so quickly after, we all of a sudden had funding for one disaster but not the other. So when we had that shift, Kelsey reaches out and says, okay, let me talk to corporate, let's figure this out. And she did. She very quickly just said, okay, what's your biggest need? And I was like, emergency vet care. So that's where Tito stepped in, and all of a sudden we were able to take care of any need that came our way. We were able to say, yes, we can help. Whether it was tornado impacted or COVID impacted, we had a lifeline.
You have animals that are in need, whether it's spaying, neuter, or just, being up to date on shots and just, everyday procedures. And so with so many people being out of work and needing to get these things done for their animals, they've really stepped up in that aspect and probably stepped a little bit out of their comfort zone and what they're used to, but that's what they do in order to serve their community. There's so many groups out there and everybody wants to do good by animals. It's rare that I find a group that really just goes above and beyond the way that New Leash on Life does. And I'm so thankful for having somebody like that in our community.
It was chaotic in the beginning. Lots of people never thought they would need help and were afraid to ask for help. And we wanted to get that out there and just say, look, it's not a bad thing. Everybody needs help sometime. And so we made sure that with other groups and partnering with a bunch of other things, we were able to get the help out there that we needed.
We started with, you could come to us to get food or we could deliver it to you. We had some people that were really appreciative of having food delivered, and we had other people that still weren't coming. So I reached out to a friend that I knew in the Watertown area and I said, hey, can you put feelers out? And because she posted in the Watertown local pages and everybody knew her, then more people came out and said, I really could use some extra help.
So we lined the lane up and down with dog food and cat food. So that everybody, when they came up, we sent them up the lane, went to where their name was, put their stuff in their car. We were directing traffic in and out, and it was just, oh my word, it was amazing. And then you realize how many people really need stuff like this, because you can't get out. You can't do, things you normally do in this day and age. And people were so appreciative, so thankful. We had individuals that were just hugging us and crying and saying, you just don't know. But a gentleman that we had in this area was Mr. Jackie Tyree. And he is just the sweetest man. And everybody calls him Pa Jack. Well, his granddaughter, Amy Tyree, that I've known since she was born, called me and said, Miss Sarah said, can I get some food for Pa Jack's cats? And I said, well, sure, honey, come on down. I said, how many cats does he have? And she said, well, he has 14. 14? And she said, yes. She said, well, now we had to take him to the nursing home, and we don't want to get rid of him because that's the only thing that he remembers. And so she came down, she got him cat food for his 14 cats. But that was just one of the stories that, in the process of giving out dog and cat food, that we heard.
STEN is an acronym for Senior Citizens Awareness Network. It's a program that's been in existence for a little over 18 years with the Sheriff's Department, and it addresses needs of our seniors out in the county.
Initially, when this happened and we began to have restrictions in place as to how to visit our seniors, we very quickly learned that a lot of them are alone and their companion is their pet, be it a cat or a dog. So their first concern is, I want them fed first and then worry about me second. So when Sarah called and said, hey, New Leash on Life has availability for dog and cat food, do you need any? We were excited to be able to offer that. There were many tears shed when we said, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of that. It was just another stress that was gone. Being connected to New Leash on Life has been just an amazing connection.
Every need that we've seen come along, there's been someone to help with it. Between people in the community, people at national level, people at every level, everybody was doing something to try to help.
It goes back to the core beliefs of myself as well as my staff that it is very important to give back. When New Leash might have been booked or were unable to do some of the routine procedures that they normally do so well because of the tornado or the COVID situation, we tried to step in as much as we possibly could. There were so many pets in need for not only routine services, but very sick animals throughout this entire time. And so we have continued to provide the services that were necessary. because it really takes a community of people who care about animals to try to keep as few animals as possible from falling through the cracks.
We got the email on Thursday from the city, and it said, that this church was doing this food distribution. So I called the pastor and I said, we'd love to help. Is that okay? And he said, absolutely. And so we pulled together as much food as we could from not just our food bank, but surrounding food areas, and we started bagging it up. We are headed to Wilson County Fairgrounds here in Lebanon, Tennessee. As far as we know, this is a no address restrictions, no income restrictions event. So anyone that's in need that's in this area or surrounding area is welcome to come get help. And that's part of what we liked about this was sometimes people are in hard situations and nobody knows and they're not sure where to go ask for help. So something like this where anyone is welcome, you wind up meeting people or reaching out to people that normally wouldn't have a chance to get some assistance. This wet food was made possible through Greater Good. The cat food was made possible through Alley Cat Allies. And the dog food was actually made possible through private donors that just loved the fact that this was going on and wanted to help because people recognize the need and are just glad it's getting distributed to families that do need it. And so we've been amazed at the turnout and the support for the pantry program during this trying time.
Yeah, this has been so fabulous. We've partnered with one of the local churches that are giving out food to people who need it, about a week's worth of supply, and we're asking if they have dogs and cats at home, and if they do, then we're supplying them with dog and cat food.
It's sad to see how long the lines are, but it's exciting to see the community coming together like it has to try and support those that are in need. And we wish we could do more of these, and we're hoping that we can do a lot more to try and support everyone through this time of struggles.
I think as a whole, we don't realize that a lot of people just really don't have a lot. And for us to be able to contribute and to give out food and to help, it's an honor to be here.
This very small idea just kept growing and getting outside of the scope of people that I knew. I had friends Venmo me, and then I had their friends that I've never met Venmo me so I could go buy dog food and cat food. But it was literally complete strangers who had never heard of our organization, had never heard of what we do, but they recognized a need and just trusted that we were going to take care of folks, and that's what we've tried to do.
Just walking a dog or going to clean a cat cage or giving $5 to New Leash on Life and saying, put this towards somebody's care. $5 can do a lot. I think people might think that if they have hundreds or thousands of dollars, that's what everybody needs, but every dollar makes a huge difference.
We don't have income restrictions or address restrictions, any of that. If we can help, we want to. And if you need something, we will do what we can to help.
So that happened 3 or 4 times each month. It happened 3 or 4 months at a time. And we gave them dog food to last for a whole month so that everybody was taken care of. But it was an awesome thing to witness. So I have here a resolution that says, the resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, in appreciation and support of New Leash on Life in Lebanon, whereas New Leash on Life is an organization committed to providing love, care, and hope to animals in need by improving the welfare of companion animals in our community through shelter, placement, spade and neuter, education, and awareness. And whereas the hope of the organization for the future is that there will be no unwanted, unloved, or abandoned companion animal. And whereas in furtherance of their mission, New Leash on Life provides a pet adoption center, the longest standing operation of the New Leash on Life family. The Joy Clinic, which provides spade and neuter services to any dog or cat in need, and the Paw Pantry, which provides monthly pet food assistance to pet owners in need. And whereas Wilson County government has enjoyed and continues to enjoy a relationship with New Leash on Life preventing an appropriation for spade and neuter services and providing assistance to our excellent animal control program in the county. And whereas after the tornado of March 3rd, 2020, and the onset of COVID-19 causing many families to have one or more members to be unemployed, the Paw Pantry stepped up, thanks to donations from the community and local businesses, to provide monthly pet food assistance to pet owners in need and offered information on spade and neuter services that could be provided. And whereas New Leash on Life continues to offer improved services under the leadership of Angela Chapman, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, that we hereby express our appreciation and support to New Leash on Life as they continue to improve the welfare of companion animals in our community and county. Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye. You say anything?
Didn't know you were doing this.
So, Angela, this is Angela's job, just like that's Miss Ruth's job. I assure you, this is Angela's dream job. So I've known Angela for a long time, and she's all about those animals. So, you want to say anything or not?
I'm just going to say I got bamboozled too. So Ms. Ruth, I totally understand where you are right now. But we really do appreciate the support of the county and the community, and we truthfully could not do what we do without your support. It really does make all the difference. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Miss Angela, and for what you guys do. This time, reports of the Minutes Committee. Commissioner Bishop.
September the 10th at 6 in the conference room here at the courthouse. The minutes to approve, make a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Reading of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to...
Move to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. And opposed? This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Charlie Curtis, the Executive Director of the Tennessee County Commissioners Association, to come forward, and he's going to speak to you for just a second. He'd been on the docket for the past 2 months to kind of give us an update, and we had a sparse crowd because of COVID, and so he's here to do that tonight. I will also let you know that the Metro Council, Davidson County, approved the resolution that you approved recently that Commissioner Fields brought to us about the addition of those two properties, and now that'll be in the legislative hands for quite some time to see about getting that sent over. Mr. Charlie, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mayor, County Commissioners, citizens. I first say it's an honor to be here. As Randall said, they've been scheduling me for the last 3 months to be here, and he never did tell me what the head count was, but he said, I want to make sure there's enough of them there that you won't be embarrassed when you come to speak to them. But I feel strongly that the job I got, the reason I'm here is the Lord let me have this job, and if I can reach out and help anyone, I will. I mean, if the mayor calls me, if a clerk calls me, if the sheriff calls me, I'm going to help them. But the fact of the matter is I work for you. I work for the county commissioners. There's 1,642 of you across the state whenever seats filled. And I work directly for you, and I'm the only employee. If something goes south, I can't even hide. I'm it. But as I sit down, and I've not got a lot of remarks, I won't take up a lot of your time, but this county is blessed. I mean, you're growing by leaps and bounds. And I know some of you have been here all your life, and some of you haven't. But it's a pain. It's a management nightmare to live in a county that's growing like this. But you need to thank God you are growing. There's some counties out there that are in dire straits financially. They don't have the economic engines that you've got to generate money. They're just barely making it. And I thought, growing pains are not nearly as bad as hunger pains. So when y'all are struggling to plan ahead and fund all the things you got to fund, just thank the good Lord that you got that problem. You ain't worried about your next meal. So just a comment from Charlie Curtis. I'm just throwing that in there for free. But I want to, the mayor asked me, it was a certain 2 or 3 pieces of legislation he was really concerned about, therefore I figure you were.
But the first one he asked me about was short-term rental properties. And I think you all got a private act if my memory serves me correctly. But there was a bill in the legislature this time, and we really thought we were going to lose it. But at the end of the day, it passed. And I'm just going to give you a synopsis of it. But basically, all the big platforms like Airbnb and others that rent properties, advertise and rent it, by law now, and they've agreed to it, they're going to collect the tax. They're going to collect the sales tax and the hotel motel tax. Remit it to the Department of Revenue, then it'll come back to the county. That takes care of most of your enforcement collections problems. But anybody that's operating without going through one of these platforms, you're still going to take care of that locally. We may revisit that in a year or two. But Clark Boyd is the one who carried this bill and did an outstanding job. There's one more caveat to it. There's a percentage of the population that have two homes. They have a regular home and they have a vacation home. And both those properties sometimes end up in short-term rental. Through all this negotiation, it was negotiated out that an owner could have two homes and they be involved in short-term rental as long as they stayed in them back and forth during the year, and they would remain as residential property. Anything above two homes is going to be taxed commercially. It's going to be commercial property. But that was that piece of legislation. But that passed, and that was a good piece of legislation. I've been doing this a long time. I was sitting thinking as I was watching you go through some of these presentations. I started in county government in '78, and they some here served longer than that. But in 19, when it was after a Supreme Court ruling, we ultimately were able to pass legislation to start collecting internet sales tax. That's the biggest thing that happened for county government in my lifetime. And the original bill had a threshold of $500,000. If an entity outside of Tennessee was doing $500,000 business in Tennessee, they had to collect the state sales tax, the local option tax, and remit it to the Department of Revenue. That's a pretty high threshold. Most states went to $100,000. And so last year, that bill passed. And the other thing, we'd been collecting some internet sales tax. Amazon and a few other companies had agreed to collect it. And the Department of Revenue was dividing it up by the same percentage as the regular sales tax. So your big economic engines, certainly Lebanon is the largest collector of sales tax in this county, and then Mount Juliet, and then you got Watertown and other entities. But they were giving them the internet sales tax on that same ratio. Now, after that law passed in 19, it's based upon where you order it and where you have it shipped. If you live out on the farm and it goes to the farm, that money's coming to county general. By statute, half of it has to go to schools. It has to be used on education. The other half, it's up to the county commission how you appropriate that money and spend it. In this year's budget, in the budget proposal the governor had, he lowered that threshold in his budget proposal to $100,000. So we got that dropped without even a bill. The governor did it in his budget document. The second thing that happened is they passed a bill that dealt with market facilitators. That's eBay, Amazon, and them. If anybody, I've sold stuff off of Craigslist. Any platform like that that's selling products, they're responsible to collect the sales tax and remit it to the Department of Revenue. That bill alone is almost $40 million a year going back to local governments. That's cities and counties that we weren't getting before. That was huge. That's only going to get bigger and better as time goes on. Only the Lord knows how big it's going to grow, but it doesn't take much of imagination to see that it's going to grow. Another piece of legislation passed this year is dealing with the budget. Those of you that serve on the budget committee. Some counties, the school system they were deciding what the revenue estimates were going to be for their budget. It made it plain in the state law that the county legislative body will establish what the revenue estimates are. You can't have 4 or 5 entities establish what the revenue. We had one system in East Tennessee. They would estimate the revenue is going to be way up here, and then they'd get appropriations to match it, and then they would come up short. And that's the straw that broke the camel's back. So the legislature this year said it's up to the local county legislative body to establish that. Another bill, Terry Ash will understand this better than I do, but for years, the state has had an entity called Tricor that deals with state prisoners. They do training, and they actually work them, teach them job skills for when they get out. They passed a bill this year that allows local governments to contract with Tricor to train the prisoners in your local facility. I don't know how big a benefit that's going to be. I'm sure that Terry's got a whole lot more insight into that I do, but I can see it where it could really help on recidivism. If you got somebody in jail or in prison and they learn a craft that they can earn a living when they get out, there's a good chance they may not go back. But if you turn them out the same way they went in, they're more likely going to end up back in prison again. Another bill passed this year, it's on firearms, says if you're a local official, elected or appointed, and you've got a handgun carry permit, you can go in a building where court proceedings are taking place, but you cannot enter the room that court proceedings are taking place, and you've got to be about your official business. You can't just be going in a building to be going in a building. But that was one of the changes of the law this year. Another piece of legislation passed. It requires a 2/3 vote of the county commission when disposing of real property. You can dispose of it at a nominal cost by private negotiations to a 501c nonprofit. So if you got a nonprofit in this county, you got some property with a building or what, rather than auction it off, you can negotiate it and get it to them for a nominal price, but it's up to the county commission to pass that by a 2/3 vote. Ambulance reimbursement, that's a big deal. They passed a bill this year that said the minimum reimbursement rate would be 2/3 of Medicare's rate. Now, we can't dictate to the federal government what they're going to do. So the governor and the legislature decided they'd let F&A have a pool of money to offset that. If somebody was getting billed less than that, there would be a way for a county to bill and get that money. That's a pretty significant piece of legislation. Another one deals with commissioner pay. Up until this year, there's only 2 ways a county commissioner could be paid. One is be paid a salary, and I think that's what y'all do. Here, you paid a salary. The second option was you get paid a per diem. You just paid so much every time you come to a meeting. Well, now you can do a hybrid. You can pay a base salary, and you can also pay a per diem, so that you've got an incentive for people to attend the meetings, but you're getting a base salary. You're a commissioner 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. People are calling you needing this and that. And so you're busy even if you don't come to one of these meetings. You're a busy person doing that. So the legislature this year, they passed that. One other caveat to that. It's already the law. You can no longer give yourself a pay raise or an increase in benefits during your term of office. You can vote for it. You can vote for it, but it does not become effective until the next election and you're seated again. One more bill that requires a 2/3 vote. It lets a county government or a city government by a 2/3 vote of their governing body to regulate smoking in a playground area that the county either owns or manages. They can control smoking in those areas if the county commission votes by a 2/3 vote to give them that authority. And then the last one, it doesn't involve y'all, but I'll mention it anyway since I'm so close to it, but there's a few counties in the state that do not have a planning commission. And generally, if a road's to be opened or closed, that goes through the planning commission. Well, for those counties that don't have a planning commission, they've given the county commission the ability to appoint or develop a body to look at the roads for opening and closing and report back to the legislative body what to do. They just give those counties that are falling through the cracks something to do. I want to make one more comment, or some way to open and close roads and be legal about it. I've been tracking the revenue ever since October of last year, trying to get a grasp of it. And right now, through the end of June, from October 1 through June 30th, you've collected $1,171,998 more than you did the same period a year before. Most of that, not all of it, but most of that's internet sales tax that you're collecting that we were not collecting. And it would even been greater than that, but the mayor could explain it. But you had a vendor or vendors that overpaid last year and they took a credit, or you'd have been up closer to $2 million in new revenue during this same period of time. And that's all I've got. If anybody's got any questions. Yes, sir.
Where exactly does that internet tax go? Does it based on where it's collected, what city, or?
It goes to wherever the product it was purchased is sent. In other words, if somebody lives in Lebanon and it's sent to Lebanon, the Department of Revenue will remit that tax to Lebanon. If it's out in the rural part of Wilson County, the sales tax comes to the trustee's office from the Department of Revenue.
Does still half of it go to the schools?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But Lebanon's got its own school system, so what they collect, they keep.
Right.
But anything else goes to the county. Half of what Mount Juliet collects goes to the county, because those school systems in Mount Juliet belong to Wilson County. One thing I'll touch you got a new commissioner, somebody out here?
Yes,
somebody's got to welcome aboard.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I want to bring the bad news to you. You got 120. When did you get appointed?
I actually won the election in March.
So you're in March. Well, I hope UT contacted you. I was remiss, or I should have done it, but by law, you had 120 days to go through an orientation program. And that's good for the first year. From the 2nd through the 7th year, for 7 years, 2nd through the 8th year, you've got to get 7 hours of continuing education annually. It's the legislature, when they passed the bill, you can do it on the internet. CTAS has got enough training on the internet. Right now, monthly, I'm doing Zoom meetings, and I'm doing it by regions. I think you're in Region 6, CTAS Region 6, so I'm doing all those counties at once. I had the first round of those calls last week, and I didn't have a lot of people because I thought I'd stumble and fall on my face, and I didn't want many witnesses. But I made it. So I'm telling all of you, you're welcome to attend. I'm going to be sending out an email. And listen, I don't know if y'all been meeting on Zoom now. Have you done some of you? It's pretty simple. If a dummy like me learn it, anybody can. But the main thing is the CTAS is saying they're going to allow the training component be in that. So if I meet with you an hour in a Zoom or 30 minutes, those of you that were elected or appointed after 18's elections, during that 18's election cycle or after, they're going to allow you to take some credit for attending those Zoom meetings. When the legislature goes in session, I can't meet monthly on a Zoom meeting because I don't even have time to see my wife, hardly. But during the session, I'm going to meet every Friday. I'm going to have a Zoom meeting every Friday. We're going to record it. So if you're working, you can later hit it, and it'll tell you everything that happened legislatively that week that affected counties, and it's going to tell you everything that's on notice for the following week. But I want you to know I love you, and I appreciate it. Go ahead, sir.
I've got a constituent asking, and this usually comes up by Bobby Franklin, but emissions control, there's some legislation. What's going on with emissions testing out there?
Honestly, I can find out for you, but I honestly didn't track that. It just wasn't something that we had on our radar screen, but I can track it down for you. Be glad to.
Mayor, do you have any update on that? I know what.
It's down to, I think, 10 months before it's done, and when it's done with the federal government, then they'll contact the state, and the state will contact the people that the state contracts with here to run the emissions testing, and when their contract goes out, we'll be done.
About 5 years now.
Amen.
I think it's within about 10 months, really. That was the last one I got from them. Yeah.
What do you mean by the 10 months? 10
months from now.
10 months from now. Yes, sir.
3 years ago, we entered into it. You had to back out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to back out.
So it's the contract? Is it the contract?
The contract, but the EPA plan had to be approved by the federal government, and then once that was done, they went back to the state and gave it to the state on how they were going to handle admissions with not having that testing center in anymore, and then they have to stay until their contract is up. But I can get you, I can call Our Lady tomorrow and find out the exact dates for you.
That'd be great.
All right.
I appreciate each one of you. I hope and pray the Lord blesses each of your families, and y'all have a wonderful night. God bless you.
Thank you.
I'm heading to my daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Charlie.
40% of my nights in Wilson County now, by the way.
Send some taxes here.
I reckon I'll get to vote someday.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Charlie. We appreciate that. Mr. Goodall, any additions to be added to the notary list?
We're good.
I hear a motion to approve the notaries.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? At this time, you'll be electing a commission chairperson for the next 12 months. The floor is open for nominations.
Nominate Randall Hutto.
Second.
Hear any other nominations?
Move nomination cease.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you so much for allowing me to chair. At this time, Commission Chairperson Pro Tem, you'll be electing a person to serve for the next 12 months, and the floor is open for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Wendell Marlin.
Second.
Commissioner Marlowe has been nominated. Do I hear others?
Can I do it? No.
Do I hear a motion nomination cease then? Did I hear that?
Motion nominate cease.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Commissioner Marlowe, you are a Chairman Pro Tem. You accept?
Whether I want it or not.
Whether you want it or not. At this time, we will be voting on the budget members and the finance members. And Mike, since everyone is here beside Commissioner Fields, explain to us how he can vote and when he should vote and how we should do this.
You amended your rules several years ago to vote by paper ballot, where you write in the number of nominees, number of people you wanted to vote for, and then you sign your name to it. Commissioner Fields cannot do that tonight because he's participating remotely. And had we had more people like we did 2 or 3 months ago, we would have had to have done something else. I suggested to the mayor that what you can do is suspend the rules to hold these elections, where that everybody could still vote, and that allows Commissioner Fields to vote. He can't be here and fill out a ballot and sign his name to it. So if you choose to do that, if you choose to suspend the rules, that will allow him to vote. If the rest of you still want to vote by a secret ballot, it's not secret paper ballot, y'all know that it's open to the public. But you, if you still want to vote by paper ballot, you could do that, but it will allow Commissioner Fields to vote by voice. And so everybody will have the same equal amount. And that seems only fair to me, since the governor is allowing people to participate remotely, that nobody should be disenfranchised from voting for this. It seems to be a favorite word right now.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
To allow everybody to vote by paper here and Mr. Fields on the computer.
I got a motion to second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. And Commissioner Fields has said he appreciated, he understood if you said no as well. So I'm going to, now if I understand this right, Mike, we'll pass out the paper ballots, let those people vote. We'll put them up here, and before she starts reading the votes, he'll make his vote then, that way.
Yes.
Okay? Does that make sense?
District 1.
And you'll, and so Commissioner Fields will make it.
Nominations first.
Right, I got that. I just want to make sure I'm right.
I wasn't trying to be a
Details.
A lot of people,
I figure people are ready to move along, man.
they are. I'm ready to go. Okay.
Been in a lot of these meetings, I think they're ready to move.
All right. Just as a reminder, Rule 32A of the Board of County Commissioner rules state that the elections of the members of the Budget and Finance and Insurance Committee must be done by paper ballot. Ms. Dowdy will pass out the paper ballots here in just a minute, and we'll need to print the individual's name you wish to vote for there. You must sign and print your name and district number on your ballot for it to be counted. So at this time, we will start with the Budget Committee, and the floor is open for nominations for Budget Committee. Commissioner Smith?
I nominate Robert Fields.
That's what I got told. That's what I was going to do.
Commissioner Fields? And other members for budget members. It's not coming through, Ms. Dowdy?
It's not coming through on mine either.
All right, just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Commissioner Patton?
I'd like to nominate Annette Stafford, please.
Okay, Commissioner Stafford. And Commissioner Weathers?
I nominate William Glover.
Commissioner Glover? And Commissioner Costley?
I'd like to nominate Tommy Jones.
Commissioner Tommy Jones? Commissioner
Nominate
Robinson?
Marlowe.
Mr. Wendell Marlowe, Commissioner Marlowe. Anyone else? Do I hear a motion for nominations to cease?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed? Okay, so we have 5 people for you to vote from, and 4 of those would be what you would write down, so vote for 4 people. That's Commissioner Fields, Commissioner Stafford, Commissioner Glover, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Marlowe. And please vote for 4 of those. Be sure and sign your name to the ballot, please. Commissioner Fields, Commissioner Stafford, Commissioner Glover, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Marlowe. Fields, when she is ready, she will call on you, and then you can make your vote at that time. There are 5 people listed. Commissioner Fields.
Mailing in them paper ballots.
Stafford,
Got that ballot, I wouldn't be voting.
Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Marlowe. You'll need to vote for 4 of those when she calls on you. She will call on you in just a minute, okay? Please be sure and sign your ballot. You're voting for 4 of the 5 listed: Commissioner Fields, Commissioner Stafford, Commissioner Glover, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Marlowe.
That's a better pro tem, I helped you. Sleep.
I like Miss Charlie.
Come on, guys.
I'm practicing for the general election here.
Y'all holding up the wagon.
I'm stuffing the ballot box.
He is a smart guy. Yes, sir. Please pass your ballots to the end. All ballots in?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Go get fast.
Yes.
Rookie.
He's trying to do it in crayon. You got people. You got Kevin.
All ballots in now. Those in crayon and those in pencil. So all ballots are in.
No, that's.
And Ms. Dowdy will start with Commissioner Fields first.
I really.
Commissioner.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it will be Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Glover, and myself.
So you're only voting for 3?
That is correct.
Okay.
Who was the other one besides yourself? Who do you vote for? Read those.
So you had 3 votes by Commissioner Fields at that time. 1 was for Commissioner Fields, 1 for Commissioner Glover, and 1 for Commissioner Jones. So you have 3 votes so far to start with, and Ms. Dowdy will go from here.
All righty. Mr. Fields, Glover, Jones, Marlowe. Fields, Stafford, Marlowe, Jones. Jones, Stafford, Glover, Marlowe. Fields, Stafford, Glover, Jones. Marlowe, Stafford, Jones, Glover. Jones, Stafford, Marlowe, Fields. Stafford, Glover, Jones, Marlowe.
Hang on.
Stafford, Fields, Jones, Glover. Fields, Jones, Stafford, Glover. Fields, Jones, Glover. Glover, Stafford. Stafford, Marlowe, Jones, Glover.
Stafford, Glover, Jones, Marlowe. Jones, Marlowe, Stafford, Glover. Stafford, Jones, Glover, Marlowe. Fields, Marlowe, Jones, and Glover. Stafford, Glover, Jones, Marlowe. Jones, Glover, Stafford, Marlowe. Fields, Glover, Jones. Fields, Marlowe, Jones, Stafford. Glover, Marlowe, Jones, Stafford. Fields, Stafford, Glover. Glover, Fields, Jones, Stafford. Fields, Jones, Glover, Marlowe.
That it?
That's it.
Is that all of them?
That's it. How come y'all so slow?
Wheels is out.
Join the party.
You got me good on that.
I may have a colored pen for you.
I wished I'd have had a box of crayons to pull out, right?
I may have purple, actually.
I think Ray Charles done my nameplate because look how crooked mine is. Nobody else's is crooked. See how it's...
All right. Who's the four?
Fields got 14, Stafford 19, Glover 22, Jones 23, Marlowe 16.
Above 13's the top 4 wins. Everybody good with the numbers over there? Okay. So I had Commissioner Stafford 19.
19. Glover 22, Jones 23, Marlowe 16.
That's what I got.
There you four. Fields had 14.
Okay. So our 4 budget members are Commissioner Stafford, Commissioner Glover, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Marlowe. Congratulations to you. Now we will move forward with the Finance Committee. Finance Committee members, the floor is open now for 4 members there. Commissioner Justin?
Nominate John Gentry.
Commissioner Gentry?
I'd like to nominate Sue Vanetta, please.
Commissioner Vanatta?
I'd like to nominate Lauren Breeze.
Commissioner Breeze?
Nominate Mr. Justin Smith.
Commissioner Smith?
Diane Weathers.
Commissioner Weathers?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Bobby Franklin.
Commissioner Franklin? Any other nominations?
Mr. Fields.
Commissioner Fields, do you have a nomination for Finance?
If I heard correct, there are Gentry, Vanetta, Weathers, Smith,
Breeze and Franklin.
Breeze,
Breeze.
Commissioner Breeze, and Commissioner Franklin. Do you have any other nominations that you'd like to add to this?
No, sir, I do.
Okay, I will get back with you when we find out who we're going to vote on, okay? Anyone else?
Oh, okay.
Seeing none, do I hear a motion nomination cease? Second? All in favor say aye. Okay, so you have to vote on 4 members. Commissioner Gentry, Commissioner Vanatta, Commissioner Breeze, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Weathers, and Commissioner Franklin. So you'll vote for 4 of those, please, if you will. Please be sure and sign your ballot.
You'll be shaking.
Mr. Fields, did you hear all of those that have been nominated?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, and you'll vote for 4 of those, and we will be back with you in just a minute, okay?
I just want to make sure they got the list.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, you're to vote for 4 members that, of the ones that have been nominated. The people who have been nominated is Commissioner Gentry, Commissioner Vanatta, Commissioner Breeze, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Weathers, and Commissioner Franklin. Please be sure and sign your ballot for it to count. The pro tem will be by in just a minute and pick those up if you'll pass those to the end of the aisle. Commissioner Gentry, Commissioner Vanatta, Commissioner Breeze, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Weathers, and Commissioner Franklin are those that have been nominated. Please vote for 4, and please sign your ballot.
Mine's in. Waiting on the air patent here.
A little faster.
We got 2 slowpokes down here.
That's all right.
I don't see too many people here.
Who's gonna choose anyway?
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
First grade pencil.
He was.
One thing, we're gonna look on our
He left. All ballots in.
You're the weak link in the chain, boy.
I know.
All ballots are in. You'll get to Commissioner Fields.
Mr. Fields,
Yes. Commissioner Fields,
Yes, ma'am. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Commissioner Gentry, Commissioner Vanatta, Commissioner Weathers, Commissioner Smith.
Commissioner Gentry, Commissioner Vanatta, Commissioner Smith, and Commissioner Weathers were the first 4 votes.
y'all ready?
Ready? Go slower.
Please go slower. Let me. Oh, no.
Gentry, Vanatta, Smith, Weathers. Weathers, Vanatta, Breeze, Smith. Breeze, Franklin. Breeze, Smith, Weathers, Vanatta. Weathers, Breeze, Gentry, Smith. Breeze, Smith, Franklin, Gentry. Breeze, Gentry, Weathers. Vanatta, Breeze, Smith, Weathers. Weathers, Vanatta, Smith, Gentry. Smith, Vanatta, Weathers, Gentry. Breeze, Vanatta, Smith, Weathers. Franklin, Vanatta, Weathers, Gentry. Weathers. Smith, Weathers, Franklin, Vanatta. Gentry, Smith, Weathers, Franklin. Breeze, Smith, Franklin, Weathers. Breeze, Weathers, Venata, Smith. Breeze, Gentry, Weathers, Smith. Breeze, Weathers, Gentry, Smith. Venata, Gentry, Smith. That's Weathers.
Yeah.
Weathers. Weathers, Smith, Venata, Gentry. Weathers, Smith, Breeze, Gentry. Franklin, Breeze, Gentry, Smith. Venata, Gentry, Breeze, Weathers. Breeze, Venata, Weathers, Smith.
That's all the votes.
That's all.
We got a simple majority, Mike, 2 16s or 21 and a 22. That would be my numbers, wouldn't it?
Wrestle. Don't they wrestle? Don't they wrestle? Oh, that's right.
And what you got? What I have is 16 for Gentry, 15 for Venata, 16 for
Breeze.
Breeze,
21
21,
Smith,
22,
22 Weathers.
7, 4 Franklin, right? Okay. That's it, right? Okay, so we're
Franklin,
good.
7.
Got you.
Franklin comes off.
So I have 4 members to the Finance Committee. Commissioner Weathers with 22, Commissioner Smith with 21, Commissioner Breeze and Commissioner Gentry with 16 apiece. So that would be the 4 members.
Venata.
Tell me again.
Nice committee.
I can't hear nothing.
There's only 4.
You just got 4. Just 4, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Gentry.
4 members, so that is
Who's that, Jim?
4 members to the Finance Committee, Commissioner Gentry, Commissioner Breeze, Commissioner Smith, and Commissioner Weathers. Congratulations to you as the Finance members. This time, we will move forward with, these are voice votes now. So do we need to go back into session, Mike? I hear a motion to go back into session?
Second.
And second, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Animal Control, you are to confirm my appointment for 5 members to serve a 2-year term on the Animal Control Committee. I'd like to recommend to you for your consideration Dr. Chris McAteer, Commissioners Wendell Marlowe, Commissioners Jerry McFarland, Commissioner Sonia Robinson, and Miss Nancy Andrews. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
Second.
Any discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Ethics Committee, there are 5 members. You already confirmed my appointment if possible. For 5 members to serve a 1-year term on the Ethics Committee, I'd like to recommend to you for your consideration Commissioner Mike Kurtz, Commissioner Terry Ash, Commissioner Chris Dow, Commissioner Cindy Bannock, and Mr. Earl Ray. Do I hear? I got a motion. Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Water and Wastewater Authority, you are to confirm an appointment of one member to serve a 5-year term on the Water and Wastewater Authority Board. Upon your confirmation and Executive Director Christopher Luper's recommendation, I'd like to bring to you Mr. Zindel Murphy.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? And the Sports Authority of Wilson County, one member. The recent passing of Mr. Jimmy Tate has left a vacancy on the Sports Authority of Wilson County. I'd like to recommend you, Ms. Veronica Bender, to be appointed to fill this board, to fill the term of the late Mr. Jimmy Tate, which expires January 2023. Information about Ms. Bender was in your packet. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. I do need to know this. Are the panel, is it working tonight? I mean,
It's not working on mine, so I'm not sure what's going on.
no? Okay. So if you just raise your hand, I'll look up. I don't want to miss nobody that has information to give me. Report from the Emergency Management Committee, Commissioner Glover.
Emergency Management Committee met on Tuesday, September 1st at 5 p.m. in the upstairs conference room. Move that the minutes be received and filed.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Now, any discussion by anybody? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Emergency Management Report, Director Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. County Commission. Report is in your packet. Biggest thing, our call volume is basically running about the same as this time last year. Our COVID report is in your packet. We have received and helped deliver 91,654 pieces of protective equipment throughout the county, so everything's still going strong in that area. They are moving the warehouse from Wilson County over to Rutherford County, but we'll still go over there periodically to pick things up, or they will ship them to us and then we'll deliver from there. Also in your packet is a survey from 5 years ago when you helped purchase a power load cot system. We've done a survey based on that 5 years in injury prevention and safety of employees, and they wanted me to pass along a thank you for putting in a 10% match for that grant to purchase that. So thank you all very much. And that concludes my report.
Report be received and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Now, any discussion from anybody? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Director Cooper. Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner Rich.
Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, the Law Enforcement Committee met on September the 15th at 5 o'clock at the Criminal Justice Center. Minutes were laid on your desk tonight. Make a motion these be received and filed.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you. Sheriff Bryan is not with us tonight. He did text me right beforehand and said he got caught where he could not get back here. So if you have any questions for him, his report is in here. So I'll take a motion to approve that. You can call him.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve the report. Of course, any questions, please give him a call. Otherwise, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Report of the Education Committee, Commissioner Stafford. Director of Schools report, Dr. Donna Wright. We'll have a hard time outdoing Miss Ruth tonight, I'll just say that.
Good evening. There is a lengthy report in your packet tonight, and just for the thanks of what we've been through tonight, which has been really good information. Just want to note that we're welcoming 3 new board members and the re-election of Larry Tomlinson, but Kerry Pfeiffer, Zone 1, John White, Zone 3, and Jamie Farrow, who's back there, was already introduced tonight, so we welcome them in joining us. Again, a lot of information. The thing that I just want to add that we're in a period of time right now that we've never experienced before. Every day is difficult, and when we send out anything as far as what it's going to be like, it's for today only, because it can change within 36 hours. And the thing I want to commend not only our teachers, but our administrators, because again, this is so difficult. And There are no guidelines, there are no manual to help direct us in. Again, we continue to go through this. We are running right now a hybrid where every other day to try to commit to social distancing best we can, which is really 50% of your school population any other day, and then a day of planning, which is a Monday for our teachers. Today was the first day back for pre-K through third grade, simply because those are the years that it's where you're learning to learn. And it's been very difficult meeting on an every other day basis. So far, the report that came in from all the schools that it went well. We did have some kids that were a little confused on what day they were to be there, but so far so good. We're looking at hopefully that we can return to a traditional schedule after fall break, which would be October 12th, which is something that, again, particularly whether it's the lower grades or even in high school, there is a desperate need for daily instruction. And we certainly, yes?
I can't hear you, but what did you say, which group is going back after fall break?
It would be grades 4 through 12. And again, we'll be monitoring it. And I'm sorry, usually my voice is too loud, but so thank you for bringing that up. But again, we're monitoring it. We're continuing to see a positive caseload. We do unfortunately have youngsters that are coming to school and finding out that they're already positive. And we go through that process. So again, it's a learning time for many, and the thing is that the heroes right now being the teachers, the administrators, and our school nurses, and very fortunate again, thank this body for allowing us to have a school nurse in every school, and that is not the case across this state right now. Also in your packet, I just want to bring to your attention, we presented a resolution that's going forward on BEP funding, which we are dependent on when you look at the state level. We are asking for a hold harmless, and this is one that several other districts are also picking up our resolution and moving forward with it. And because it's based on enrollment and not knowing what this year is going to look like as we continue through the year, we're hoping that the state will look at this favorably. And when I say hold harmless, as far as looking at last year and not looking at this year's count. And again, we're getting a lot of, I guess, positive feedback from legislators right now as they're getting ready to look at this. And again, all the language is there, and with the uniqueness of the year, and we are hoping that we'll see that pass. And we'll get some relief there. So, barring no questions, that concludes my report for this evening.
Right, just real quick. I just have people asking the status of West Wilson School.
That's a really good question, because that, again, it's one that I think before we even were breaking for COVID, waiting to see what the resolution would be. And right now, it is. We're hoping, from what we're told, it's in the final status of the insurance brokers in New York. And that hoping that we will have demolition beginning within 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Because right now,
I noticed that coming up on Facebook and everywhere.
Yes.
And I've had several phone calls about it, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I will ask.
Well, and the urgency being, yeah.
But I've been kind of sidetracked, so I appreciate that.
But it pushes us out now to 2022, which we were hoping that we were looking at a 14 to 16-month project. So thank you for asking.
Commissioner Walker, and the panels are working now because I got Commissioner Walker. So, Commissioner Walker?
I'm out knocking doors, as you can imagine, just meeting all kinds of folks. And what he just asked is probably the top question, and I just share with him as it's an insurance issue right now. So, but just a couple other things. I just want to say the parents that I've met are pretty much patients out there, and I think that's just a testament to the information that's shared throughout the school district, and that's coming from everybody, from the bottom up, the top down. I think there's good communication. Everybody understands where they need to be, what days. And I just want to say thank you to everybody involved for the communication. That's important. And it's just a difficult time, and everybody's doing the best they can. And I just think we're blessed to be in Wilson County, have great schools, great leadership, and especially the new school board members. I mean, this is new to them, so it's got to be a difficult time for them. So
Well,
thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Walker, and thank you for getting the word out as far as communication. Everything from over-communicating, but trying our very best. And the thing that we also, and I should have brought this up as well, we have families that are hurting as far as the need to get both parents back to work, and we are very, very sensitive to that. And so we're hoping that we're going to be able to move that along, but thank you.
Mr. Gentry?
Is the elementary school in the same boat as the middle school? Are they going to start taking that down in 2 weeks?
Yes.
It's all in together, correct?
It's all in together, yes. I mean, you're talking about really a shared campus.
Correct.
And so, yes.
No thought, again, of making a K through 8, is there?
No. No. It's going to be 2 separate campuses. Thank you.
Mr. Franklin?
Just a quick question on the rebuild. Is it a total rebuild of West Wills, the middle school, or is it going to be?
That's probably the last part of the negotiation right now, is that, if you'll remember that the newest portion, that if you're looking at, Wendell, when was that built as far, was that 2000?
About 7 years ago.
7 years ago, because it was new when I came on. So there's debate on that, and really we can build around that. So that's the only thing that's questionable.
Okay. Commissioner Costley?
I really don't have a question. This is a comment that a lot of people outside of the schools are not really aware of, and Dr. Wright has allowed to happen. We have been able to support our teachers by creating an in-house daycare for their children who are having to be on this hybrid schedule. Otherwise, they would struggle to work or whatever. So I just want to give a nod to Dr. Wright for that, because I think it's pretty awesome, even though I'm having to watch the daycare. That is not my specialty.
That's a scary thought, but I won't say that out loud.
I just wanted to thank you for that, Dr. Wright. That was a really awesome deal, and to watch the teachers pull together as a team and take parts of their planning periods and stuff, and then push me in there for 3 or 4 hours. Awesome. But no, it is a great thing.
Please note that we need to up our liability insurance. Commissioner Walker?
I was going to say, no one's reported that we've lost anyone either, so that's good.
Commissioner Walker?
Sure. The other piece to the school rebuilding of the middle school and the elementary school, I shared with the people when they asked that question. I said, we're blessed, since you came on in the county commission and school board, we've done a lot of rebuilding and new construction. We've built capacity in the system to house those 2 schools full of students. And had we not done that, we'd been in a difficult situation now. So I share that with everybody that asked the question.
Very, very
So I encourage you, if you get the question, let them know that we have been a part of building that capacity along with the school board.
Now, the high school kids would not agree with having the 7th and 8th graders in the building, but they're making just as long as they don't cross paths.
Any other questions?
Will the report be received and filed?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Report from the Public Works Committee. Thank you, Dr. Wright. Report from Public Works Committee, Commissioner Weathers.
No report. I would like to remind the committee that we will be meeting tomorrow at 5 in the training room at the Criminal Justice Center.
Okay. Ag Center Management Committee, Commissioner Scruggs.
You got the paper. You got it, Kenny.
No report would be
I
a
don't think so.
right answer.
Report.
No report.
I think I had one.
Thank you. Animal Control, Commissioner Marlowe.
Animal Control Committee met in regular session on Thursday, September the 10th, upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. Move they be received and filed.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. And opposed? Audit, Commissioner Bernard. Cable Tax, Commissioner Walker.
Yes, the Cable TV Committee met on September 3rd, 2020 at 6 p.m. in upstairs conference room. I move these minutes be accepted and filed.
Got a motion, second. Now any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. And opposed? Develop and Tourism, Commissioner Vanatta. Ethics, Commissioner Ash. Finance, Commissioner Weathers.
The Finance Committee met tonight at 6:30, and those minutes will be in your next month's packet.
Okay. Health and Recreation, Commissioner Patton. No report. Insurance, Commissioner Ash. Judicial, Commissioner Glover.
Judicial met on August 20th at 5 p.m. in upstairs conference room, and again on September 8th at 5:30 in the upstairs conference room. Move that these to be received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. And opposed? Planning and Zoning, Commissioner McFarland.
Mr. Chairman, Planning and Zoning met on August 10 at 6 p.m. and also on September the 8th at 6 p.m. We also had a workshop on the 1st of September at the fairground. I think it's very successful, and I just got to tell you that Mr. Charlie, I called him and said we're looking to try to understand this flash flooding and the problems we're having in our community, and he said you need to talk to X and Y and Z, and so I made the calls, and he was immense help to us, and those are the nights we had our meetings, and move to be approved and filed.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Rules, Commissioner Gentry.
No report.
Urban Type Facility Board, Commissioner Scruggs.
Urban Type Facility Board met September the 4th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. It's in your packet, receive and file.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Finance Director report, Mr. Aaron Maynard.
Moving quickly, I just want to point out that your fund balance report in your packet, those beginning of the year fund balances have been adjusted to actual. So they've been from the estimates from when we adopted the budget to the actual numbers from the beginning of the year. I noticed that the comparative revenue report did not make the packet this time, so I will email that out to you tomorrow. But the two things that I would point out is we did receive in the month of August $1,994,000 from the state of Tennessee. So that's near $2 million, which is COVID money that they basically gave us to make up for any lost revenue that we might have. So there's no strings attached to that money. So obviously when you look at a comparative revenue report, you got $2 million coming in August this year that you didn't have last year. Plus, business tax is generally, they rearranged that a few years ago where that's basically filed the same time the tax return is filed. Since tax returns were extended this year into July, we've seen a lot more business tax returns filed. So that number is up quite a bit as well. Things are trending at this point ahead of last year. Please remain vigilant. That is not a call that all is well, nothing to worry about. Just remain vigilant. And but that concludes my report.
Will the report be received and filed?
Oh, I'm sorry. One last thing. Yes, I wanted to congratulate Commissioner Keith. We went to school together, class of 1988. Anything that we might have gotten involved in at that point in time is covered both by confidentiality agreement and statute of limitations. So.
And might I add, he's still using that crayon.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Dow. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Report from Budget Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Budget Committee met regular session Thursday, September the 10th, in upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Resolutions, Commissioner Marlowe.
Okay, resolution 20-9-2, in appreciation and support of New Leash on Life. We've already done that, haven't we? So I'm not going to read it again.
Number 4.
Okay. Have we done 3?
Yes, it was the consent
All right,
agenda.
good. All right. Number 4. To amend the budget and appropriation resolution for the 2021 fiscal year to make an additional appropriation in the capital projects fund.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. And Mr.
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote?
You're expecting me to vote now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Wow,
Yes.
really?
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25 yes, No votes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 20-9
5 absent.
That means you got 5 absent.
Yeah.
But at the bottom, it still got 25 over absent.
I got 25 yes up there.
25 yes and 5 absent.
Yeah.
At the very bottom, you see 5.
Screen may be off, but her screen votes 25 yes, as it says in the top corner, so she's good there. Would that be true? Everybody voted yes? Anybody that didn't vote yes? Okay, so we're good.
Anybody absent?
We got 5 ghosts in here then.
Okay.
Resolution 20-9-5 to amend the budget and appropriations resolution for the 2021 fiscal year to make an appropriation from the Archives and Records Management Reserve account to the Circuit Court.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Now, any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Let's hope they work.
Commissioner Fields.
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. Still have 25 yes? Anybody disagree? Record reflect it was unanimous. Move ahead, please.
Resolution 20-9-6 to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make an appropriation from the county clerk vehicle fees reserve account to the county clerk.
Got a motion and a second. Now, any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. Got 25 yes. Anybody disagree? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 20-9-7 to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make an additional appropriation from the general debt service to principal and interest on bonds.
Motion.
I got a motion and a second now. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. I got 25 yes. Anyone disagree? Let the record reflect it was unanimous again.
Resolution 20-9-8 to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget for the 2021 fiscal year and to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make an additional appropriations and line item transfers in the Homeland Security Grant.
Got a motion and a second now. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Weathers?
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25 yes.
I got 25 yes, no zeros. Anybody disagree? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 20-9-9 to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year for line item transfers in WEMA.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
October.
Commissioner Kurtz?
All right, I'm sorry.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25 yes.
25 yes. Anyone disagree? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 20-9-10 to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget for the 2021 fiscal year and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution for the 2021 fiscal year to make an additional appropriation in the ambulance fund.
I got a motion and a second now. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
vote.
Commissioner Weathers?
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. I got 24 yes and 1 abstain. Anybody disagree with that? Let the record reflect that's what it was then. There we go.
Resolution 20-9-11, to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget for the 2021 fiscal year, and to amend the budget and appropriations resolution for the 2021 fiscal year to make additional appropriations in the general fund to WEMA.
So here's second. I got a motion and a second now. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. Got 25 yes. Anyone disagree? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 20-9-12, to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget for the 2021 fiscal year, and to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make additional appropriations to the general fund to WEMA.
Got a motion and a second now. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25 yes. Anyone disagree? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 20-9-13, to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget for the 2021 fiscal year, and to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make an additional appropriations in the ambulance fund.
Got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? I'm sorry, forget that. Are you ready to vote? Bad. Please cast your vote. I did.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25 yes. Anyone disagree with that? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 20-9-14, to make an additional appropriations from general fund and to enter into resolution of intent with New Leash on Life.
I got a motion and a second. Now discussion. Commissioner Gentry.
According to the policy of finance, I understand why we can do this now. However, I contend it still takes 17 votes to pass this in accordance to the policy of the Finance Committee. Does anybody agree with that? Disagree?
I can't help it. Takes 2/3 vote,
I don't, the reason we did this one this way is because of the fact that we did the budget this way, the way the comptroller asked us to do a status quo budget. We made a commitment to these folks at New Leash on Life 3 years ago that they had an option to come back and front of us in the budget committee this year. But we didn't give them that option. We couldn't because of the COVID and the way the things were set up.
I agree with that, but I do not agree with the 13 votes because since that time, on all nonprofits other than what's normally in our budget, in the Finance Committee, we voted to make it a 17 or 2/3 vote in order to pass any other money going to nonprofits.
Again, what I'm saying is, I think you're absolutely right, and it comes down the pike. If these folks had an option that was given to them before we changed that rule. And I think because they had that option, we could not let them come to the Budget Committee, and it was through no fault of their own. So I really don't think they ought to be required to have to pass a 2/3 vote. I agree with you from now on everything else.
Grandfather?
Yes, sir. I think the option Commissioner McFarland locked us in, we had a responsibility to let them present their case.
Right. But we never said we were gonna give them the money, though.
No, we didn't, we just said they had an option to ask. You're correct.
Any other discussion?
See how many they get.
Okay, I got a motion and a second now. Commissioner Patton?
Encourage everyone to vote for this because it's such a worthwhile program, and we all know it is. We were all there for the meetings, with the exception of a couple. And just remember that in 2018, there was a total of 2,630 total dogs and cats that were spayed or neutered, and then 2,619 that were done in 2019. And these are all feral cats for Mike Jennings up there. They're like feral cats and dogs. You know, this is a big safety hazard, and it's just a worthwhile program. That's all.
What a feral cat. And the way I described it, y'all would not want me mentioning that.
He actually asked what was a
What
feral
was that
cat.
definition?
No, we can't say that.
Mr. Walker?
This is good charity, but I'm aware of a nonprofit charitable organization that deals with animals that does similar work on the west end of the county.
Why didn't he
If
bring
they
this
approach
up?
any of us commissioners, we just direct them to the Animal Control Committee or the Finance Committee if they want to come forward for some charitable donations. Is that what we're supposed to do?
Not this year.
Everybody speak at once.
You answered that, right? Okay. Restate that one more time, I'm sorry. Commissioner Walker, restate that.
Yeah, there's a nonprofit charitable organization that does work with animals on the west end of the county. And, you know, they would love to get some county funds, just like New Leash on Life. So if any of us commissioners get approached by this organization, how do we handle that? They got to wait till next budget season, then they can come forward and present their case, I'm assuming?
That has been the rule, and that's what we've been going by. And the only reason this exception here is because when Mike looked at it and said, hey, because of their previous resolution, and they didn't get to come at budget time because of COVID, that's the only reason this one was allowed at this time. Anybody else would have to come during budget time.
Call for the question.
Second.
Got a call for the question, second. I got one left in the hopper. Commissioner Patton?
Do they spay and neuter for a very low discount rate? As far as we know, there's no one else that does.
I'm not sure what all they do.
Services to take in and rescue animals and dogs and
Still a
cats. But I
nonprofit.
don't believe they offer to spay or neuter for $70 and $50 a pair.
I'm not here to debate it. I'm just here to say that I've been approached by these folks.
I got you.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Patton was in the pocket. Anything else you want? You good? Good deal. Okay. We are ready to vote. Please cast your vote.
Not working.
Here we go. See how well we did.
Commissioner Costley? Thank you. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
Third, that's enough.
20 yes and 5 no.
Gotta have 17.
I believe they've done it.
All hearts and minds good with that? Okay. Let the record reflect it was 20 to 5. Resolution passes.
Resolution 20-9-15, approving private charter number 48 of the 11th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Commissioner Patton, or were you on there from the last time? No? Clear it for me, please. Okay. Any discussions on this one? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you.
And Resolution 20-9-16 to enter into cooperative purchasing agreement with Sourcewell and U.S. Communities.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Any old business to come before this body before we have a public hearing? Commissioner Ash?
New business.
Okay, new business, Commissioner Ash?
Mr. Chairman, I'd first would like to commission a member of the service Barbara Webb had to this county. And she just passed, and I would like, if you would, Mayor, to prepare a resolution of her life and legacy for the service she did as Kirkland Master. And we'll find what remaining families you could come up and we'll present that. And I also like, if you would, to frame that resolution, have it posted over in the Criminal Justice Building outside the Kirkland Masters.
Will do. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Commissioner Patton?
I totally agree with Commissioner Ash. I was going to mention that about Miss Barbara Webb as well. But, and I also want to thank Teresa Bush and her staff and Aaron in the IT department for the 2 video presentations tonight. And also the Extension Office for providing the pictures and information for Miss Ruth's video.
Yeah, both of them are well done. Thank you for that. Any new business, other new business to come? Commissioner Stafford?
I would like that all the commissioners will sign the resolution that Commissioner Ash just spoke about to show our support for
Barbara
Webb?
Barbara Webb.
We'll take care of that.
All of us, our signatures to be on it, if you don't mind, please.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, at this time we'll go into our private public hearing. I have a motion to go out of session. All in favor say aye. Okay, this time, Mr. Thomas, yours.
He come in right at the last minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, a public hearing will be held before the Wilson County Commission on Monday, September 21st, 2020 at 7 p.m. or thereafter in the County Commission Room here at the Wilson County Courthouse located at 228 East Main Street. Items for consideration are an application that has been submitted by property owners Drew Boggs and Daniel Johnson requesting to rezone their property from A1 agricultural to I1 light industrial, consisting of approximately 2 acres of land located on Murfreesboro Road and further references Wilson County Property Map 123, Parcel 5. Given COVID-19 related precautions, if people do not plan to attend the meeting and wished to comment, we did accept comments through general mail or by email. We did receive none, by the way. All comments must be received by 3 p.m. Friday, September 18th, 2020 in order to be heard at tonight's meeting. And then it provided the address for where they had to send that to. Anyone wishing to speak on this issue are requested to come forward at this time.
Anyone here wishing to speak on the property? Seeing none, then we'll take a motion to go back into session. Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Mr. Shears?
Again, the application by Drew Boggs and Daniel Johnson has been made to request to rezone their property from A1 agricultural to I1 light industrial. That rezoning request was presented to the Wilson County Planning Commission on August 21st, 2020, and is being forwarded to the Wilson County Commission with a positive recommendation.
Yeah, I've heard no opposition against it. I'd move to approve.
Got a motion from Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner McFarland. Any discussion? Commissioner Kurtz?
What's the reason why it wasn't on the light property? Like on appeal for the stated reason for many warehouses?
Yes.
Be a C2, I think, which is similar to what's around it?
C2 is that's correct, and I believe staff's recommendation at the time was not to recommend approval of it because we didn't have land use direction for I-1. However, given the status of this property, I believe the applicant made a good faith effort at the Planning Commission to explain why he did what he did and why he requested the I-1 industrial, light industrial zoning that he's requesting. One thing about this property is it does not have good soils areas, so about the only thing you could use it for is something like mini storage or some other use if you're going to use it in a commercial nature.
What about
Mr. Boggs is here if you wish to ask him any further questions about that.
What about like if it was a trucking company leaving and going? I mean, they could.
Yeah, that might fit the same kind of criterion. That's correct.
I know it's concerning because of the area that it's in.
Yes, sir.
And if we do industrial, then it opens it up to
That's absolutely correct.
the area. And I'm not against it, I'm just saying, I know, just
Yes, sir.
traveling up and down there, I think it's Commissioner Ash's, is it in yours, or
No, I believe it's in Tommy's district.
is it Tommy's?
Yeah, we've already zoned 2 pieces industrial right in that same area. And
But not right there at
Quarter of a
the,
mile.
yeah, but not right there at the Parkland Flea Market. I know that's a congested area.
That is true.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, you ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Let the record reflect it was unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Bashir. And anything else to come before this body tonight? All in favor say aye. Aye. Good meeting.